Yo everybody, and welcome to another video, and let's talk about today. Big day. There's an update announcement for August, and it will hit very soon at the end of July this month, already in 3 days. We will see its effects in Brawl, and it's also the anniversary of Shipyard's first year working on Stormbound. So congrats on them for keeping up with us, and thanks for all the effort they put in the game and all the updates they have done, and have the patience with us as the community as well. So without further ado, let's just continue on. Welcome to the Kitties website, where we will check everything out. So blah blah blah, new update. So what's in the update? We got balance changes, a new card, Brawl Bonuses, cheapened Brawl, books update, daily check-in redeeming, and an FAQ. Let's just continue on with the first one. So this release, like any other, brings some balance changes. Temple of Life's ability now considers all friendly units instead of surrounding only. So that's pretty good. At least it's way easier to trigger some more units. Otherwise it was pretty confined and very receptive for AoE and stuff. But it affects less units at all levels, from 3, well, this number to 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So that's a big reduction. So especially if you look at it compared to the Hearth, it's definitely pretty weak. But well, you get something else, right? You get the Vitalize when it's buffing your opponent. It also attempts to spawn a 1-strength copy of itself on the tile behind. So like a tree expanding with its roots. So that's pretty interesting. So you have like multiple copies. So for instance, if you get a copy of this, then also the amount of units it can vitalize will... and vitalize also means like you vitalize a unit and then it also receives +1 strength, which is at the lower leagues a bit stronger than at the later leagues, where well, the strength grows exponential. So, but it's an interesting one. Like Siege Breakers have a good day against it, but it will definitely be fun to fool around with. Additionally, its strength has been decreased by 1 for all levels. Yeah, that's a pity. So overall, if you look how he's gonna be right now, yeah, it's pretty meh, right? It's still not what you actually like. The ability with the roots is a lot of fun. Definitely gonna play with that one. And it's now overall, instead of only surrounding, makes it a bit easier, because now you can just put this thing on your baseline and then try to keep some front. Which, yeah, it's just not a lot of value. And if you put it on your own baseline, then you won't get a copy of it. So it's an all or nothing. It feels a bit more like you're already winning, win more, because you spawn more copies, vitalize all your units, etc, etc. But well, to come at that point, you need raw stats, value, good clears. And I don't think this card will actually provide it that much. But hey, at least the card becomes a little bit more interesting. And perhaps if it's still pretty weak, they will just give it a bit more strength, like increase its strength by 1 again, and then it might be competitive. But probably not. They just need to do something with the main ability. Alright, so let's continue on. Temple of the Mind. Ability still triggers at the start of the turn, but now grants or removes, if already present, fixedly forward movement to the leftmost unit in the hand, then destroys the weakest confused unit on the board. So we finally are able to put this card and then have some control over what we want to put in fixed forwardly. Also, just for you to understand, at the end of your turn, the cards you draw, like if you have only 2 cards left in your hand, the cards you draw are put to the right of your hand. So you can basically, well, keep 1 card in hand, put it to the most left. Be careful that you do not melee mulligan it, because, or mini cycle, whatever you want to call it, because then you are definitely cycling the wrong card. But yeah, that helps. And what else? It also removes fixed forwardly. Well, Headless Hothead or Headless Headhead. Oh, I don't know. What's the weird card that has this ability? I always forget his name. At least it's a hothead robot construct. And yeah, I'm not sure. Like, you don't really need it to remove fixed forward, because otherwise why would you put it in? But perhaps later on in the future, where more cards might see this as a nerf to a card, so you can unnerf the fixed forward ability, so it becomes a little bit stronger. That it might be a nice setup for future card releases or changes to existing cards. And then we got the last part. Like, Shipyard really enjoys getting temples and confused together to confuse us as players. And well, then destroys the weakest confused unit on the board. So for your understanding, this will always, like in normal situations, this won't happen if you confuse your opponent's units. So in order to make this work in your benefit, you have to basically freeze your opponent's unit. And if you freeze it, then the confuse sticks. And then at that point, you can use it. Or you can see it's a neutral. So you can also combine it with Dr. Mia. Play like Sweet Cap Kittens, Temple of the Mind on the board. And then use this one with the Mia, trigger it, and get some insane value if you're lucky. But hey, that's it. Do I want to use it? Probably not. I still don't understand fixed forward. Maybe I'm just not creative enough to see how this is very beneficial. But in my defense, I'm a very defensive player. I like to control the board and not so much be the aggro one. So perhaps some big brain aggro players might come up with a solution for this. I moreover like the then destroys the weakest confused unit on the board with Mia synergy or with freeze synergy. So I'm more looking forward to experiment a little bit with that. But as it is as now, it will just be more for fun and not so much for competitive. Alright, some quick ones. We got Queen of Hearts as a +2 strength buff. Was pretty big. Now it also like balances out against the Box of Wasteland, so that's pretty great. And some other cards. Like if you play this, you want it to stick, and with 14 HP, it survives a little bit more AoE and stuff. So I'm not sure if it was actually needed, but perhaps people weren't playing this kind of cards anymore. I still do for my quest decks, and I don't find it that weak, but c'est la vie, some people do. And then we got Blood Minister's strength is also increased with 2 strength. So especially on the lower levels and lower leagues, it's huge, from 3 to 5. So probably start using it there. On later levels, it's still strong with 10 strength. I use it at the moment, and well, converting like a 7 strength unit is a lot of value. But if this has a little bit more body, doesn't get removed that easily, well, that's pretty sweet. For example, like with this, with 8, just the Siege Breakers can clear it, or Scrap Planners or Windmakers, like all of those cards can easily remove it. And now with the Blood Ministers a little bit higher, you most likely keep a little bit more front. Alright, so I'm happy, at least for Blood Ministers. I'm not sure if Queen needed it, but whatever. It's probably the stats show this card is underwhelming in performance. So who am I to argue those performance stats? Anyways, the next one, Rogue Sheep. This is a huge one. Well, they released this when they started. And now after a year or so, they, for Shipyard's anniversary, they recreated its ability from all the way. It was basically a Blade Storm on death effect. So nobody really cared about it. Wasn't really a pirate style like-ish card. So that was pity. But hey, now it's over. We waited a year and we finally got a card, and an insane card with that. I'm not gonna even read all these stuff here. Let's just look at the card here so we can actually see it. See, I'm almost level 12 or 12 copies. So I definitely have it maxed out when it true form comes out. So what does it do? On play, draw up to X card copies from the enemy hand with 1 mana cheaper cost. So it reduces the cost with 1. It draws 2. So for example, if you have like 2 empty card slots in your hand, you can just draw up to 4 cards. And it, well, with reduced cost, it's just insane. And it's also became 4 mana. Well, the strength is like 7. It's like Edric, so that's a nice wink to Paladin's Edric the Fierce card. Also 4 mana, same strength and 0 movement, and does an insane amount of things. Yeah, but this card is just gonna be bonkers, and everybody is gonna experiment with it, and we will see a lot of craziness. Like we had the per amalgamation, amalgamation or whatever the new Brawl was, where you were 50-50, your deck and your opponent's deck. Well, that's gonna be ranked at the moment for a while at least, when everybody is gonna start taking this card in. So yeah, for who is this card actually good? I think it's good for a lot of decks. Like more late game orientated cards can use this. Like they already use freebooters at 3 mana, draw 2 max. So if we just look at max level, you can draw 3 cards. Yeah, so that's insane. So people just gonna go use it for control. But I think this also will be for aggro decks with a lot of cheap cards. Like for example, put First Mutineerian, North Sea Dog, and all the other 1 and 2 drops. And at some point you will lose some steam. And then you have Rogue Sheep, just getting your high value cards from your opponent with a little bit of cheap, and you have enough space in your hand because the rest of your deck is very cheap. So you can play everything, fill your hand back, and just continue on with the rampage. So that's gonna be insane. And then maybe combine with Forgotten Souls or something. So because you have a lot of board presence. And another one, for example, is the mid-range Winter Pact. Just imagine Savannah and Icicle Burst. Well, that's a combo we see everywhere. With 4 mana, or with 5 mana I mean. Icicle Burst, combine, get 4 mana back. So you're already 2 cards in. Well, oftentimes people will use now Siege Breakers, use Edric, or use Mistwives. But why not just use Rogue Sheep? Because if you play Rogue Sheep, you have like only 1 card remaining. For example, when you are maxed, you will draw your whole hand back with reduction. And getting a reduced price on your opponent's card must be insanely good. Because your opponent wants to win. And then you have those cards as well in your hand, which is even cheaper. So yeah, we're gonna see that. And the drawback of this card, yeah, it's a bit slow, right? Because the turn you're gonna play it, you have to play your whole hand, and then you just play 4 mana, 7 strength. It's not much, you have no movement, so your opponent has some way to put in a lot of pressure. And I think we might see even more aggro as a counter to this, or just mirror matches all the way, where people just play Rogue Sheep, and you copy a Rogue Sheep in your deck. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Well, some things to say about how this works. If you draw 1 copy, you get it in your hand. Once you play that copy, it gets deleted from your deck. It actually never is in your deck as a persistent card, unlike what you see with Harvester of Souls or a Mirtz token. So you can only play it once. And that's good to know. And for example, if the card is 0 mana already, for example, you copy an token, then it stays 0 mana. Also, if you copy a copy that your opponent copied from your deck, like Rogue Sheep Inception, then you get reduced mana cost. So it can even Rogue Sheep, you can copy a Rogue Sheep that costs actually 0, or a Gift of the Wise that costs 4 mana if you just keep copying it. But I think normally you wouldn't get in those kind of situations. And last thing I want to say, if you copy a card and then cycle it, then it stays in your deck. So you can have copied cards in your deck, but once played, they will get destroyed. So yeah, we're gonna see a lot of Rogue Sheep, but that's not all. Let's close this bad boy and continue on. Well, Also here they're talking about, well, it's getting buffed overall. I think everybody agrees that the previous Rogue Sheep wasn't something you want to show to your parents. So yeah, it's definitely getting buffed, but they are also giving us compensation. So that's great. And if you do have it like closely on a level, then probably level it up, because you just get a compensation. So you get some of the fusion stones back. So that's definitely worth it. And this card is gonna be a lot of fun, and you're gonna see it more. So just gonna left out if you do not do it. Alright, I'm talking a lot, but there's so much to talk about. So the new card, we got the Temple of Time. And this will be in August halfway, like 15 or something. So not at the start of August, so we have to wait a little bit. But it's fine. So let's look at the card. It's a legendary Shadowfen, 3 mana, 2/6 strength. And what does it do? At the end of your turn, remember the state of the surrounding friendly units and structures. At the start of your turn, restore 2 of them to that state. Or read X if you want to look at different kind of levels. So what does it do? So you place this card, and for example you have a gifted recruits in front of it with 2 strength. Your opponent, like, and that's the end of your turn, right? Okay, so now it's your opponent's turn. Your opponent use execution on your gifted recruits. Your opponent's turn end, it's your turn, and Temple of Time remembers. So at the start of your turn it restores the card, and you get your 2 strength gifted recruit back in front of Temple of Time. So that's pretty sick, and it also moves, right? Because structures trigger first and then unit do their movement thingy. So it's like nothing happened. For example, if it wasn't destroyed, but it took 1 damage and it was poisoned by Copperskin, Rangers or whatever in your opponent's turn. Well, what happens? At the start of your turn, it returns to 2 strength and the poison is gone. Well, that's pretty interesting, right? And well, more things. It can also work differently. Like for example, you have a gifted recruits in front of it with 2 strength. You also have like the Hearth somewhere or whatever. You have like a structure that gives strength on the board, and your gifted recruits get stronger. For example, becomes 5 strength. Then it also reduces its strength back to 2. It just returns to its state. One, does it not happen? If your gifted recruits gets killed, for example, by heroic soldiers, and your opponent has a 3 strength unit on the tile where gifted recruits stood, then the tile is occupied, so it couldn't do anything. So that's a little bit of a dumbed down way how this card works. It can even return your other Temple of Times. So that's pretty interesting. Like if you have like 2 of these bad boys on the board, then your opponent needs to destroy them both. Or at least destroy 1, occupy the town. Otherwise they will just return and just trigger its abilities again, and things get out of control. So yeah, this is gonna be insane. I'm not sure how many people will start playing with this. At least the whales, like the money people, they will definitely use their resources to get this on a high level, because it's very interesting. We're gonna see a lot of this card in equals as well, but perhaps not, right? Because it's only 2, and if this gets a lot of meta, then we will see a lot of siege breakers and execution in. So it will be interesting how this will be countered and becomes meta, not becomes meta. But we will definitely see a lot of people fooling around with this one and try to make the best out of it. And for real, 3 mana, 6 strength, it's pretty decent. It's just 2 strength less than a 4th of Ebonrock, and its ability is insane. Especially in late game, where you might be able to control the board better. and just get more consistently value out of this bad boy. So yeah, definitely worth investing in. And well, it's interesting that they chose to make this a Shadowfen. Obviously, Shadowfen needed a temple, but yeah, just imagine if you have this card and it was a neutral, like everybody could play with it, Mia and all the other kingdoms. This will definitely favor Shadowfen faction players a lot. Something else to say? I'm not sure. Just looking for the artwork in action. Looks a bit funky, but very curious about the animation of Restore. So what else do they have? Well, you got very small images here, as you can see, from the Shipyard pack, the new legendary card, and the new legendary card. It's not so new legendary card anymore, but we know what I mean. It's like the Rogue Sheep. And well, it's just back. But for sure, the Shipyard pack. That's why it's all my scrolling just destroyed it. Anyways, the Shipyard pack is like one random, 500 coins, 100 rubies, and 50 fusion stones. So for real, if you are gonna someone who doesn't really want to spend, but you have like $10 you want to spend on the game once a year or something, this is definitely a lot of fusion stones. You might also think for going for the premium pass. That's also a lot of value. But if you want to buy a pack, well, 50 fusion stones, 100 rubies, that's a lot. That's way better than these bad boys on the right. But then at least you know which card to expect. But for 50 fusion stones, you can basically craft a Rogue Sheep, or you can craft a Temple of Time. And it still has 100 rubies, 500 coins, and a random legendary at your disposal. So Shipyard pack, definitely supreme above the other packs they spread out in the world for $10. Alright, next one. Brawl Bonuses. Second part of the new heart system will be introduced in late July in the form of Brawl winning bonuses. The idea is that after every victory in Brawl, the player will be offered one of the 2 random bonuses amongst a set of 9 different possible bonuses. See the completely below. Some of them will provide resource, while some will improve the player's livelihood in Brawl by redeeming and refilling hearts. A player begins a Brawl adventure in the selected tier with 3 full hearts, just like it's right now. When losing a match, a player loses 1 heart, it gets emptied and red. If all hearts are lost, then the player crowns get reset to the beginning of the current milestone. Alright, so we're gonna see it like this maxed out, because we just start with 3. And after victory we have like a choice of 2 random ones. And the random ones will be of these. And definitely this is 1 heart, this is multiple hearts, so that will be pretty sick. Perhaps this one will be triggered once you only have like 1 heart left to make a comeback. And well, just put that in somewhere in the middle. Now it is 7 crowns instead of 10 crowns. They just do this because otherwise you can farm infinite amount of resources for the gold or whatever. I think somewhat like that, but it will be fine. Not a big deal. So what else do we have? Yeah, this is like 1 life or multiple lives. Pretty straightforward. The Rusty slot. Picking this bonus will grant the player an extra heart slot, up to 5 heart slots in total. Once the player loses a life from this slot, the slot destroys itself. It also destroys itself on a milestone reset. So this is an additional heart, but not really secure. So what else do we have? Solidify. Picking this bonus will make one of the player's Rusty slots indestructible. From there on, it behaves like one of the 3 default slots. So if you pick this one becomes basically a green heart. And if you get reset or whatever, you have like the multiple lives. So it's an easy way to restore to 5 hearts. So you can lose a lot if you have a lot of solidified Rusty slots. Ice armor. Picking this bonus will give an ice armor to the first full heart. After a loss, the ice armor gets destroyed while keeping the heart beneath it intact. So this might be something you want to put on your Rusty heart, because you didn't find solidify, but at least this way you can protect it from being completely destroyed. And it's also a way to actually go above 5 hearts, right? because you get like 5 hearts, but if this one is frozen, then you've like basically 6 life. So there's a lot of lives to get. Fortress up bonus. Picking this bonus will increase the fortress level of the player by 1 within the current brawl difficulty and only for brawl matches. It will not increase the fortress level beyond the cap for that brawl. This bonus cannot be drawn if already capped. So for lower level players, this might be something they want to do. I'm not sure if this is something you actually... Well, if you do not have better options, then this might be something to do. But yeah, 1 extra HP. Perhaps maybe on the casual brawl where we only have like 12 HP. Then I've seen sometimes it actually just the turn timers runs out after 10 turns. And then the person with the most HP wins. So for those kind of brawls this might be something. But for sure what actually this is, the Fortress Up bonus, is like it's nerving people who do not have a wide collection. Because this also is like one option you can get from the 2 options you receive after victory winning. And well, basically you do not want the Fortress Up bonus, because Rusty Slot Solidify or Ice Armor is way better to reach further away, further in the brawl. So if you do not have max cap level, then start upgrading multiple kingdoms, multiple cards, so your fortress level goes up, and then way you do not receive the Fortress Up bonus during the brawl, and then focus actually on the bonuses you want, like these 4 or the resource bonuses. So that's just a tip from Flip. Hope you enjoy it. Resource bonuses. Picking these bonuses will immediately grant the player a certain amount of resources, varying based on the brawl difficulty and milestone. The coins bonus can be obtained from the very first milestone onwards. Its rewards can go up to 100 coins in casual, 250 coins in warrior, and 500 coins in ultimate. That's pretty sick, right? You can get a lot of coins, and well, that's good stuff. So people will go for these kind of bonuses, I suppose. 500, but it's up to. So you might also just get like 10 coins in ultimate. Then you're just unlucky. So I think it's somewhere like a bell curve where 10 is very unlikely, 200 is more likely, and 500 is very unlikely and only received in the later milestones. Well, the same goes for rubies. 25 in casual, 50 in warrior, 100 in ultimate. So this actually might, if you can receive 100 rubies in ultimate, that might almost be like worth it to just climb, because you get so many rubies and you can convert those back to coins if you would like to. You can wait for like a good discount or whatever, like a shop sales, black sales, whatever they do sometimes. Maybe in September when Stormbound gets 4 years old. So wink wink. And then we got the fusion stones can be obtained from milestone 5 and onwards, and the bonus can go up to 3 fusion stones in casual, 10 in warrior, and 25 in ultimate. Yeah, this is also insane. There's like almost one legendary copy, or almost 2 epic copies if you just win a match. But most likely if you want to receive these 25, you pay already like 300 coins for the match you want to play. So it's quite expensive. And the ball tracker on the website has been updated. So that's pretty cool. If you want to check that out, then feel free to visit stormbound-kitty.com. So next one, the cheapened brawl. Similar to the previous events, the brawl starting on the July 29th, and only that one is going to be cheaper. All fights will be 10% off. Owners of the premium pass will have like 20% reduction. So that's pretty sick. Not so much as they did sometimes with 30% or 50%. Like 66, I'm not sure if they even did the 66% chance discount, but at least 10% for everyone is pretty good. 20% for premium pass users, including me. Well, that's also pretty sweet. And we get a 500 coins reward because we are awesome. And well, they received a lot of negative feedback on the heart system, because the heart system was just these 3 hearts and a lot of people didn't like it, me included. because it wasn't just like punishment for losing 3 times. Especially with RNG, it's not in your favor. You just get reset and you get salty and you lose a lot of coins and yeah, blah blah blah. Nobody likes it. And they were planning to ship it perhaps with all these other mechanics in place, but tried to split it up, and somewhere along the line we ended up hating it, and they feel sorry for our experience. So just they give us 500 coins. So that's pretty nice. They didn't need to do it, right? So everything we can get for free is something free. So yeah, you can take a look at this if you're interested with yourself. I'm just gonna focus on it because there's more to talk about. So we got the books update. 4 new books will be introduced, all available to buy with Robux as usual. We hope they will help players sharpening their collection. So pretty interesting. So we got the Book of Magic, costs 40 rubies, contains 3 spells, and rarity odds being 50, 30, 20. Well, there's no legendaries, so there's no reason to give a legendary spell, but they might include it once they receive it. But for now, it can only be 0%. Book of Structures costs 40 rubies and contains 3 structures, with rarity odds being 50, 30, 15, 5. Pretty good as well. I especially enjoy Book of Structures since, well, they released a lot of temples, and I still need to level up all these temples. So I can just spend like 400 rubies on 10 of these books, get 30 structure cards, and most likely at least 50% I get a copy. So I might just get like 15 copies of cards I need, which is way higher than anything else I can buy in the shop. So that's pretty sweet. The Book of Chaos costs 50 rubies. I'm not sure why it costs 50. It's like confusing, right? To look them up, whatever. 50 rubies and contains 3 cards with the word random or its localized equivalent in their ability, with the rarity odds being 25, 25, 25, 25. So 25 getting a legendary, that is pretty sweet, and it's only 50. I'm not sure if it's actually better. Well, it's not better than a Mythic Tome, but yeah, you get random cards in a random book. So this is random, less random than books, right? Because you know you get a random card. So it's basically the Book of Lesser Chaos. But hey, that's just my 5 cents. But, well, should I buy this? Probably not. I don't know why I would want to focus on random. But hey, perhaps you look at your collection, you want some cards. For example, look up which legendaries these receives. For example, if you really like Queen of Hearts, which also gets buff, and you like Toad the Elevated, both have random. For example, if there are only 10 legendaries, or maybe there are like 6 legendaries with random in it, then your odds of receiving the cards you actually want are pretty high. So for those kind of people, well, go your gang with the Books of Chaos. If you want specific cards, check it out. Perhaps somewhere you can find out which random cards you want, and maybe it's worth it for you. Otherwise, just buy the books that give more value for its bucks, or the rubies in this case. Next one, the new Book of Legends, costs 120 rubies and contains 3 legendary cards. Yeah, you can buy this. Like, the Mythic Tome is 80 rubies for 6 cards, and perhaps on average you receive like 2 legendaries and 4 epics. So, but this is at least consistent 3 legendary cards. I would say just go for Mythic Tome. Like, if you spend 240 rubies on 6 legendary cards, or you spend 240 rubies on 18 cards with the Mythic Tome, where probably you're gonna get like 4, 5 legendaries or something. I'm not sure about the odds, but you might get 1 less legendary, but you get a lot more epics. But hey, this is also like most of these books. If you have all your epics maxed out and you only need legendaries, well, definitely this is gonna be worth it more than going for a Mythic Tome. where you get like epics and you have to convert them to gold, and doesn't worth much, right? It's only 70 for a duplicate epic. And the book for magic, I just wanted to say, if you are like an Aaron player, Archdruid Aaron I mean, then go for this. Otherwise, well, whatever, right? All these books are just for people who want specifics. And so this is the Book of Magic, this is the Book of Structures, the Book of Chaos, and the Book of Legends. Pretty cool. It looks a bit like the Hero League. And this is definitely, yeah, nice books. Not gonna lie. What else do they have in mind? On top of that, some existing books will be updated to be more interesting. So basically all the other books, which these will also go in the same list, like every week or like every day we get one of the different books. And these 4 will be added to the list of Archdragons, Elder Sprites and Felines, etc. So what did they do? Well, they reduced the prices mostly and improved some of the odds. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Like, I still would go for an all-round value with mythic books or heroic tomes and these kind of things. But if you are like a dragon player, if you are an elders player, if you are a pirate player, then these will be for sure the things you want to buy. And now they actually do not lose that much value compared to the other books you can buy. So yeah, I think it's a good decision from Sheepyard. And with the card pool getting bigger and bigger, they definitely help us players to find our niche and go into it a bit more consistently without feeling it was a really bad taste. If you just bought a Book of Elders, like you get some Elders, you spend 60 rubies on 3 cards, you're like, blah, why? Why did I do it? Now, well, its cost is reduced by 33%. And the odds of getting a good card is also improved. So hey, things are looking bright for everyone here who wants to spend some stuff. Alright, next one, the daily check-in redeeming. We are introducing a way to redeem some skip days from the daily check-in calendar for both premium and non-premium users. Every day you will be able to redeem a skip day, reward by watching an ad. Well, so normally if you missed a day, you get bushwhacked. You cannot do anything about it. For example, you are really busy with school, with work, or you have like family matters. And then you're like, you missed a day, or your phone broke down. You couldn't do anything. Now you can lose every day and then just watch an ad. Just, for example, brush your teeth while restoring a skip day and then be happy with the free daily check-in calendar reward you will receive. So overall, I'm really happy. I think the punishment for getting this in or not getting this was really harsh. And well, you still need to be available like at least half of the month. Otherwise you cannot restore all your free days. But now you're less punished if you just skip a day because of whatever proper reason you have to skip it. So last but not least, the FAQ. When is the update gonna be released? The Brawl will be live the 29th of July. That will be the 10% discount Brawl for everyone. The Temple of Time will be released August 15. And the balance changes will be at the first day of the month, so 1st of August. What are Rogue Sheep's card copies? Just like I said, they will destroy once used. But you can cycle them in your deck and it reduces their cards. If you have a 0 mana token, it stays 0, cannot become any cheaper. What happens if Rogue Sheep produces a card copy of another copy? It reduces even more, but cannot get lower below 0 mana. So overall, I'm super happy, man. This is definitely for the Brawl ones. I'm really excited because I really disliked the whole heart system. It was tedious. I was not even that scared of losing 3 times during the milestones, but just the fact that the system was in place, just, yeah, it was getting on my nerves. So it's a good one that they finally put it, like the whole feature in place. And now with the rewards on the horizon as well, when you are doing great, it's pretty cool. And ways to redeem yourself, like losing 3 times in a row. That's pretty harsh, right? I still don't like it that they allow such things to happen, because people just get salty, especially if you're like milestone 5 and you are almost milestone 6 and then just lose 3 times in a row and your money is all gone. Yeah, like the punishment can escalate quite quickly. I don't like it. Also for players who are less skillful, who has like a 50% win rate, or even less, like 40% win rate, 60%. Well, those people do not benefit so much from the system. So it's like the tryhards, the enthusiastic players, the higher skilled and more experienced players will benefit more from these this one. And personally, well, I'm probably more on those kind of players, but personally I would like to see like the less skilled players being put on a pedestal, and that Shipyard focuses on them as well. Like how can they improve their user experience and promote them to even play more Brawl, even though they're losing more than they win. And I think that's something that Shipyard needs to learn. And if they start looking at the game from that perspective instead of a competitive one, they have like a whole new kind of player base they can include a little bit more and feel welcome them a bit more with open arms instead of this Spartan method. It is pretty ruthless. Alright, so what else? The balance changes. It's pretty sick, right? We got like the Temple of Life. It's gonna be a meme. We have the Temple of the Mind, which is a bit more memey, but at least a bit more consistent if we want to play with the ability. So we can finally start playing the card instead of just having it in our collection, not do anything with it, because it was just not good enough. And yeah, the biggest one is obviously the Temple of Time. That's gonna be insane. Everybody's gonna experiment with it, combined with the Rogue Sheep, because that one is also mad lad. Yeah. So overall, very happy. There's a lot of stuff is going on here, and I just can't wait to actually experience it. Like these new cards are finally cards that I'm excited in to experiment with. And for the rest, overall the quality of life stuff and like making more shop offers available, just overall good stuff. So that's my 5 cents, and I hope the next update will bring some more love to the game. But for now, this will do for a month, hopefully, right? That's gonna be salty, can be salty forever. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you like it, then give a like. If you'd like to share your thoughts about it, if you disagree or agree, just let me know in the comment sections, and we can have a chat about it. You might also just check out my Discord, but then you can also chat with me when I'm not streaming or making videos. Anyways, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed. See you later. Cheers.